It's Monday, January 24th. Coming up live on The View. Kick off your week with the hottest topics on television. From critics calling MTV's new show Skins child pornography, to why the First Lady's wardrobe choice has some American designers seeing red, and a must-see video of a tennis star confronting a reporter for asking if she's pregnant. Then, the most notorious bachelor in reality TV history, Brad Womack, is back and exposing how he was so hated after not giving anyone a rose. He went into hiding and into therapy. Plus, revealing which contestants have him interested this season and which ones have him scared. All that, hot topics, and more coming up on The View.
To The View. I have returned. Yes. Nobody noticed I wasn't here. It was just lighter on one side of the table than normal.
Can I just say something to our audience?
Sure.
We all know how freezing it is in New York. I mean, in much of the country. And when I was getting dressed this morning, I thought we will have no audience. Who is going to stand in the freezing cold for an hour? And you did! So, we would not do it for you. But isn't it wonderful?
It's kind of wonderful.
We're so appreciative. Nice. Thank you.
But I feel like we did somewhat the same thing, because it's cold as hell in here. No, but I had to take my clothes off to put on my other clothes.
It was freezing in our offices. Maybe not freezing.
And my nipples were down to here. I looked down, I had lumps on my kneecaps.
Saluting the flag.
But I said if Elizabeth wears a prom dress today, in this weather...
No, I have more layers on under here than you can even imagine.
Well, I'll tell you. Well, I was not cold last week. Last week, I was on the Disney cruise. Disney has a brand new ship, and next week, I'm going to take you on board with me. But first, I have some gifts for you guys, because, you know, it's the inaugural cruise. Okay. And so there probably will not be any more of these left by the time.
That's what we needed, a mug.
Well, it's not just a mug, it's the inaugural mug. That means that this will not, you can't just go buy them. This is from the Disney Cruise Line, and this new ship, I'm telling you,
like, can I bring Jeffrey on this kind of cruise?
Baby, let me tell you something. This is a cruise that is made for families. There's a whole area just for teenagers. Adults are not allowed, but there are counselors on the ship, so you know you should know that your children are taken care of. There are places just for kids. There's a water slide that goes around the length of the ship. You end up going 250 feet out over the water on this water slide, and it doesn't go whoosh. It kind of goes woo. So you're watching it. No, I didn't get on it. You know.
Show us all this.
I'm going to show you everything, and I did that flip thing for you guys. I did all kind of wild stuff, so I'll tell you more about it.
Suntan.
I did get a little color, finally. I just feel I've been so pale lately, so very pale, and I'm so happy that I had some time. And they were just, you're gonna love this thing. I can't even tell you. They do it. There's no joke, man. There's no joke. Oh, the food, I got more behind. Ooh. Anyway, you know, the big story last week was Carlina White, who was reunited with her parents 23 years after being snatched from the hospital as a baby. Now, the kidnapper, Ann Petaway, just turned herself in, and Carlina said she always knew that Petaway was not her real mother.
That's really interesting, because she got her when she was a infant.
Yeah, 4 days,
and the fact that this, you know, Carlina said she felt no connection towards this woman. And I was interested in how you felt about that, Barbara, because, you know, you adopted your daughter
when she was 4 days old.
When she was 4 days old.
Yeah.
Had you guys ever gone through that? Or?
Well, you know, there are, you remember The Prince and the Pauper, you know, the child, if she's having a bad day with her parents, says, I really am royalty, you know, I wish I were adopted. I mean, you hear that. Right. With my child, even in our worst adolescent days, she never said to me, you're not my mother. My daughter and I could not be more different. I don't think, except that now she says to me, "Oh, I have your terrible feet. You and I are the same in personality." I mean, it's like, you know, she's so totally my daughter. And I think it depends on your relationship. This child was unhappy. She was being abused. Yeah. It's not your usual story. But there are children, and I have friends who were adopted who love their parents, but who feel, I have nothing in common with them. But I'm not sure that that's not true with biological children,
A lot of biological children like to send their parents back.
Sure. And also, she was very
tried this weekend.
concerned that she couldn't get a birth certificate and could not be led to, you know, normally they'll say, "Oh, I don't know what happened to it here, just call the people." But she could not get any information to call to find out about getting another birth certificate. And this turned the light on in her head, and she said, "I always knew something was off, and now I was sure." And so she started looking, man. And good.
Oh, what a wonderful
One of the
story.
great things about, you know, we always sort of kvetch about the all of the innovations and changes that have been made by the internet. Here's one thing that is now, I think, bound to change how children find themselves, how they look for them, you know, look for family if they feel. It's kind of amazing.
They actually just even, I think the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they actually just have new applications to go through Facebook and Twitter, which is fantastic. And those applications transfer to phones. So now that you're right, because they're using these things that we always talk about, oh, is it good for kids or bad for kids, to help them?
It goes both ways. Because adoption, now there's open adoption. When my child was adopted, there wasn't. And with the internet and being able to find your biological parent, there are parents who don't want to be found. Yeah. You know, and there are children adults who find the biological parent and are very disappointed. But we hear that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you can, even in closed adoption, there are ways of finding the I've told you what my daughter has said, didn't I? She's funny. So at one point, she never mentioned wanting to find her biological mother. And so finally, when she was, you know, like in her early 20s, I said, "You know, I won't be hurt. I know how much you love me. And if you want to find your biological mother, I'll help you." And she said, "I've had so much trouble with you. Why would I want another one?" And that did it.
So, let's take this to a different level now. Keith Olbermann shocked viewers Friday. They shocked them. They was like this. They couldn't believe it. Shocked the viewers by announcing that it was his last broadcast on MSNBC. Some speculate the split is over political differences between Olbermann and the new company that just acquired MSNBC, which is Comcast. And, you know, others have said he doesn't have the greatest personality in the world. I mean, whatever happened to you have to give people notice, like a month? Well, you know, I mean, Regis is like, he gets on TV and says, "I'm leaving soon." Yeah.
I think Olbermann probably, this has been going on with him for a while. But I mean, the thing about it is, it's a little bit suspicious that somebody on the left leaves because he's outrageous and, you know, outspoken and says some very controversial things. But people on the right do not get fired. For example, Olbermann is famously quoted as saying, "I guess the painkillers wipe out your memory along with your ethics about Rush Limbaugh." He says Reagan's dead and he was a lousy president. But Glenn Beck said, "When I see a 9/11 family on television or whatever, I'm just like, oh, shut up. I'm so sick of them because they're always complaining." And they kept him there. They keep him there. He called the president a racist. Why is that?
Be fired?
Well, no, I don't think either one of them should be fired. But I think that it's interesting that, you know, MSNBC is squeamish about Olbermann and Fox is not squeamish about that.
Aren't we jumping to a conclusion in a way? Because this could probably and most likely be about money. I mean, we all know that there's probably a contract negotiation that went on, and maybe there was a deal breaker amount that he said, "You know what? I'm not going to do this." We don't know. But we don't know that he was fired.
We don't know, and it depends on what the heads of the different networks feel. And Glenn Beck certainly is very extreme. Okay, fine. As are some of the others on Fox. And Olbermann was also extreme and was the most popular, I guess the highest rated of the MSNBC cast.
I don't think that it is at the end.
But we don't know what kinds of things there have been. You know, he was suspended. Was it last year? I can't remember.
You're right.
Suspended for making campaign contribution. We don't know what other stuff was going on. That I don't think it was about money somehow.
No.
Usually when something like that happens, you know, you come to terms.
So it could have been cumulative.
But is there a point where
we
you
won't
can
know?
say
This
so
is
much,
one of
but
those
not too
open
much?
stories that's going to go
can't
on and
discuss
on
it.
and on.
Yeah, we tried to have him on the program.
He can't talk about
But
it.
once he can't say something, that's shocking.
But when he does, I have a feeling. Don't you think
here's
that when he does speak, he'll tell it?
He'll tell
No,
everyone.
it is
When
book.
he's able to.
He has to sign the. He has to sign the thing. But you know what? There's some folks who have been telling it.
Yeah.
Who have been sharing information. The Parents Television Council is calling for an investigation into the controversial new MTV show Skins, saying they're breaking child pornography laws by showing the underage actors in sexual situations.
Are they underage? They don't look so
Yeah,
young.
some of them are under
That's part of
18.
the complaint.
One
It's
is
not
as young as
just
15.
It's not just what they're doing, or the boy looking out the window at an adult woman and it shows her breasts, and it's also that they're underage actors, and it's not. I mean, this show is a huge success in England, and I must say, when you're watching it here, you know, it's on MTV where the average age supposedly watching is 13 to 18.
Yes.
But it also has a screaming father who's saying, frigging this and frigging that, doors banging. I mean, it is such an unappealing...
Sounds like Jersey Shore. What's the difference
But they have
between
a
this and
situation.
Jersey Shore?
It's more explicit. Like, I don't think Jersey Shore talks about the anal sex stuff.
They do it.
They
There's a difference.
They don't show it.
MTV is aimed, or certainly was aimed, at kids. 13 to 18 was their, I believe, core audience.
Well, and
Jersey Shore is...
But their first, you know, they promoted heavily during Jersey Shore. Their ratings for Skins was 3.3 million. Out of that, a third were under 18. 1.2 million were under 18 who watched this show. So they're saying that it is for adults. That's what they're saying. But
Isn't the problem that it's not pay TV, that it's not HBO?
Yeah, because
the biggest
HBO did the
problem
same
for them.
thing with Sex and the City. There was an anal. Yes, there was. They had
But
anal
it's a
sex on.
huge
But it's for
here.
an adult audience,
Well,
and it was
but-
not played by 16, 17-year-old actors.
This may be true, but I'm saying we have now. You watch any of these shows that are geared to teenagers. Everybody's talking about. We've been talking about it for months about the fact that they're having sex, they're doing all kinds of feeling
But
each
that's a
other's.
little bit more gritty,
It's
and
just,
the
it might be
advertisers
gritty, but I'm shocked that now it's bothering them.
Well,
I guess they had to have
think
that.
it bothers
Hold on. I think you know they wait for the accident to happen. We talked about a billboard. Remember downtown
Yeah,
that was so explicit that we were kind of stunned. Next to a school. It took forever for anybody to actually take a look at this thing. You know, these kind of shows have been going on for quite a while.
But it's interesting because advertisers in books started pulling out of Skins. So that says they don't want to even put their name on. They don't want credit
That's when
for any
parents
of the
started.
time.
That's when this Parent Television Council started protesting. But I think this is the kind of line we keep talking about. When is it? When is it going to be? You know, when are we going to cross this line? And it seems like we talked about a magazine article geared towards men from a popular show that a lot of kids watch, and you got the girl dressed as a cheerleader with her legs open. I mean, it's just like it seems like it's always. It makes my job as a parent, I think, a little harder.
I think it's
when I got
because it's
this.
MTV. Because on HBO, as you pointed out, I believe Oz was on there, and they're all doing some
No,
crazy
Oz was
stuff.
not on MTV.
Well, no, it was on
HBO.
HBO.
Oz was on HBO.
Yeah, and Sex and the City's on HBO. And so, what's the difference if you're
But those are
14?
adult shows.
What's the difference if you're watching grown-ups talk about all of these anal sex, etc., or young people? What's the
Because
difference?
they're
There's a
targeting.
There's
they're
two
targeting
differences.
kids.
One, it is targeting kids. It's a huge difference.
That's bad.
And the other is that they're also saying it's underage kids that are doing these things.
They even edited out. They edited out some of these scenes, which
This
could
is
be.
another one of those because it's a great show.
Yeah.
And the English have a whole different relationship to how young people are dealt with. I mean, that's just the way it is. It is a different thing, and sex does not have the same bizarreness that it carries in the U.S. You look at the commercials, so you see a woman at bare-breasted talking about bubblegum. It's like, okay. You know, we're going to be talking about this stuff for months to come. If you want, no. We'll be right back with more Hot Topics. Now, Tennis star Kim Clijsters confronted a reporter after a friend told her he was spreading rumors about her, and she didn't let him off the hook. I love it. Take a look.
By the way, Renee Stubbs told me, she showed me a text message that you wrote to her about me in Sydney.
What did I say?
You thought I was pregnant?
Oh, she did not. Well, I guess we got to ask, are you?
No, I'm not. Let me say what was written in the message. First of all, it said she looks really grumpy and her boobs are bigger.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, good. Good for Good.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Right on that spot.
Right on the spot, man. You got it. If you can't back it up, don't write it down.
But here it is. We always talk about don't actually go and ask a woman if she's pregnant because you never know. So you go and do the thing. You text somebody and say, she looks this way.
He was being crabby. He was being crabby. He was being a bonehead. He wasn't, you know, sometimes you can walk up to somebody and say, boy, you look good. What's going on? That you can do that. But when you write to someone else, oh, she looks cranky and her boobs are sagging, you're being a bonehead. Yeah. You're being a bonehead.
You read all the time about every actress.
Said, look at this.
You're right.
Yeah.
You know,
it's awful.
They may not say it to her face, but you know, every day is that a bump?
Right, the
is
bump
she really
watch is in every magazine.
With the you know, and you think,
and no one ever asks me.
It's impressive.
People still ask me when are you going to lose the baby weight, and it's been 40 years.
Well, I'm glad she confronted his behind because that'll show you. Hey, listen, when you judge the Miss America pageant, you say there's some parts of the show that undermine what the competition is all about. I don't. What do you mean?
Well, what I was talking about was the swimsuit contest, which Fox TV had a whole thing about me, apparently, against me, saying that I was against family values because I was against the swimsuit contest. That doesn't make sense, does it? My main thing with the swimsuit contest is that, and I know people disagree with this, but I don't think it's a necessary component of Miss America. First of all, it demoralizes girls who are watching this. I mean, there's a lot of fake boobs there also, which you can see by just looking at them. So it sort of sends the message, you have to be very skinny, and you have to have big boobs, and you've got to be able to look really cellulite. It's a very hard bar to reach. Number one, wait a minute, let me finish the sentence.
Sure.
The second thing is, Miss America is supposed to be very bright, which they are. They're supposed to have talent, which some of them did, and beautiful, and look gorgeous in gowns, etc. But their duties when they become Miss America. The girl who becomes Miss America does not have to appear in a swimsuit again. She has to appear in a gown because there are balls to go to. She has to be able to speak because she's representing the country. She has to be able to play the piano as this year's girl did.
So why did you take part in it then if you don't like the swimsuit competition?
So that I could say what I'm saying.
No, that's not why you did it.
But you know,
No, Joy. That's not why you did it. You only accepted that so you could make a statement 2 weeks later.
It was one of the look. They knew when they put me in that position that I was not going to just go very easily.
Did you say it?
I said it to the press. There was no reason to say it during the show. There was no place for me to speak during the show if you watched it. But when I spoke to the press, I made this statement a couple of times while I was there in front of them. It's not like I'm talking behind their back.
But maybe
they all know what I believe.
I think you're wrong. I mean, it's wrong. I don't think. I mean, it's not that big a serious thing. That we have Miss Universe contests, we have Miss Teenage America, we have people like contests, and originally they were all beauty contests. It was only in recent years, and that's a very good thing, that we have what your talent is, and sometimes the talents are pretty flimsy, or you know, how well do you speak, and all of that's important. And I know when you and I discussed this last week, you said it was my lesbian tendencies, but I love to look at the beautiful bodies.
Barbara,
that was part of the whole contest.
When you watch this contest as well, Joy, it embodies everything that you said. But don't you want to know your Miss America is fit, that she can handle this?
She can be fit, and go ahead, Elizabeth.
I mean, I think fit is. I don't know if they're fit. I mean, walking in a bathing suit doesn't mean you're fit.
In a bikini, but you know they look
healthy.
healthy.
Okay, what do you think?
I don't know what they can lift, or if they can run fast, or if what they ate for breakfast, if they got enough protein. I don't know about fit and healthy.
You know, I like watching them in the bikinis. I don't have a problem with it. They look cute.
I think it is what it is. I don't think we can try to make it something that really shows you strong women. I know a lot of women do it, and they're committed to service projects, and they tend to go on and really give themselves to their community and their states. But I have concern about the swimsuit competition too. You know where I stand. I think they should have to do something.
Well, if I could sit and watch you with a ventriloquist, why can't I watch you in a bathing suit?
What's that got to do with it? What is a ventriloquist?
If I gotta watch a talent show, I like to see the women in the bathing suits. I think they look good.
The fact that we like
inspires me to put on cheeseburgers.
Say something. Don't just make a face.
Barbara, I'm not making faces, but they want me to go to break. But I didn't want to cut you off in the conversation.
Okay, that's it.
That was it?
I guess.
All right, now, before we go to break, we want to mention that an amazing American, legendary fitness guru Jack LaLanne, passed away at age 96.
Great.
Now that's fit, okay? That's fit.
That's fit.
He used to go around
fake on him.
But he used to go around in the thing too.
But there's never been a man, a Mr. America contest that has garnered the attention. If we had to look at all these guys in bathing suits, I wonder if we'd be as upset.
The men don't like to be objectified like that.
Well, yes. Well, that's my point. Maybe they should think about there's a different
way. You should feel confident in a suit. I think women should feel good in a bathing suit.
We gotta go. And when we come back with more hot topics, starting with Michelle Obama. You know you want to hear this. First Lady Michelle Obama wore a dress by late European designer Alexander McQueen to a state dinner last week, a stunning dress. Wow. And Oscar de la Renta had a slight problem with it, saying that if the whole point was to promote trade between America and China, why would she wear a European dress? Now, Barbara, I know you're very close with Oscar.
No, that's not... Yes, I am, but that has nothing to do with this. Let me tell you what Oscar's... You said a little bit of what he said. Let me tell you what his point.
Fine.
Okay.
You tell it. You tell it, baby. That's why I was handing it to you. Tell it, Daryl.
I happen to be a big fan of Michelle Obama. And I thought she looked just wonderful. This was the state dinner for the Chinese president last week. And, she looked great. Well, it turns out that her dress is by a British designer, Alexander McQueen, who, by the way, committed suicide. And what Oscar said, and has been criticized for it in blogs, he said, look, I'm not talking about myself. This isn't jealousy. He said, I'm old and I don't need the publicity. But he said, my understanding is that the visit was to promote American-Chinese trade, American products in China and Chinese products in America. So why would you wear European clothes? He said that there are many young designers in America who would have benefited so from the publicity of having the First Lady.
Or in China, what about?
Or you could have had Vera Wang, who was, a wonderful designer in Chinese. And he said, for example, is Kate Middleton going to have a wedding gown done by an American? I doubt it. And the wife of the President of France, Carla Bruni, wears French clothes. So wouldn't this have been a wonderful time to promote American fashion? And there have been blogs and things criticizing him. So how do you feel?
I know. Were you going to say something?
I was going to say it's hard to turn down that dress.
That was a beautiful dress by Oscar de la Renta. I know. Yeah. I'm going to ask you this because you're friends with him, because I know he's Dominican. So if she had said because this is the first time he said something about First Ladies wearing
he was here.
American design. He came here to talk about that, and he's Dominican.
He's an American citizen. He was born in the Dominican Republic. Then
so he's considered an American designer. But the problem with it's so crazy, women and their fashions. I'm wondering if we're not privy to a lot of stuff, and I'm wondering if she was sent designs designs by American designer.
Oh, she gets sent them all the time.
And that's what I'm saying. So if she looked through these, and you know how we feel in clothes that we wear and big important things, and if she saw something and she said, I don't like these,
this is me.
or maybe it's not this for this particular
And
time.
why aren't we looking at what, I mean, that's a lot of responsibility to put on the woman, I think, in terms of what she wears. Sure, she could, and I'm sure from this point forward, maybe it'll be something she considered. She looked divine in that dress. She obviously felt gorgeous in it and confident, but I also think, are we examining what shoes the president had on? Where were they made? Where was his tie made? Where was his jacket made?
No,
I mean, it's
because
a lot
nobody's looking at his shoes.
Why not?
Because she is the object of beauty.
Throughout almost all of our first ladies, I think, they promoted American clothes. I mean, I don't think the president's limousine is a Mercedes, you know.
But
and there is when you have the
economy right now, Barbara. It's a global economy.
But when you have an opportunity, I mean, Oscar's my friend, but that doesn't mean that I have to present.
Is Alexander McQueen her friend? Does she?
No. But here's the thing: there are many state dinners. There are many things that she has constantly been wearing American designers. When she came here, before she became president, she was in the thing from the black and white. And she's often worn American designers. So I think it's...
Isn't that one of her designers?
You know,
yes, but maybe there wasn't... But, you know, number one, did they think that she was going to wear a Chinese outfit to sort of say, okay, welcome? You know, not everybody looks good in it. This made her look good. It's not like this is the only time she's ever worn anything. I just think it's a little much to do about nothing they're getting on.
You know what, Whoopi, I'm sure
two sides.
I'm sure that her Spanx are from China.
Well, there are...
Because mine are.
There are...
So there's little...
And what Oscar was trying to do is to promote American designers, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, and
nothing wrong with that.
And let's make sure that we remind everybody that she has always promoted American designers as well. I'm just saying.
Right.
She has. She's done it. We gotta go. We'll be right back.
Right, that's what the view is all about.
When Joy was in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, we had told everybody about the books that made a real difference in our lives. And so Joy did not have the opportunity to do that then, and she's here now to tell folks about the book that affected you.
Well, this book is called Neurosis and Human Growth. It's by Karen Horney, or Horney, if you really want to call her. So, anyway, it's a book about the struggle towards self-realization. It's really about how to become the best self that you can become. And it's almost textbook, but not quite. So it's very informative. It's kind of like learning about Freudian psychology.
What did you learn about yourself?
What did I learn?
Yeah.
Well, for instance, I was a self-effacing personality. I lacked confidence, tremendous amount of lacking in confidence, which is why it took me so long to become a comedian. Because I was funny, but I was scared. So this book helps you to understand what are those blocks and obstacles that keep you from getting what you want in life. It's a very, very handy book.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you overcame.
I did.
Thank goodness.
Plus a lot of therapy. I mean, but no medication. That's one thing.
But now, don't you want to...
Oh, and so everyone's getting one of these books, yes. Right. So, I hope you like it. You have to really commit to this book. It's not, you know... There was another book I read after my divorce called Crazy Time, which is probably out of print. That also helps you when you're getting a divorce. Crazy Time.
I live Crazy Time. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Okay, that's me now. Okay. Now, we all know cigarette smoking is one of the hardest habits to break. It's just awful. But help is on the way, because Nicoderm CQ can help you step down to freedom by doubling your chances at becoming smoke-free. Now, we all know that smoking is not only bad for your health, but it's bad for the health of the people around you. Let's listen to what some audience members had to say about kicking the dirty habit.
I have attempted to quit smoking on 3 occasions unsuccessfully, and it's always stress that will bring me back to having a cigarette.
I have a 3-year-old, and I don't want him to smell that smoke on me.
The hardest part for me was telling myself that now I am a non-smoker versus a smoker.
I tried to think of what would give me pleasure other than smoking, and I was married at the time, so that's how I got my pleasure.
Well, he good. Okay, so Nicoderm CQ is the #1 doctor-recommended stop-smoking product that you can get over the counter. Here's how it works. The Nicoderm patch replaces some of the nicotine you would get from a cigarette. With Nicoderm CQ3's 3-step program, you can gradually step down from nicotine over a 10-week period. So to help you all or your loved ones step down to freedom and quit smoking, members of our audience are getting a Zappos gift card and a Nicoderm gift bag. Zappos. Getting step down, shoes. Step down. Yeah.
Well, I will try this Nicoderm CQE element up here. I will try. I will let you know if it works. We will be right back with the man called the most hated bachelor in the show's history, Mr. Brad Womack.
I want something more that I can't find with us. Can't look you in your eye and tell you that I love you. Everything came crashing down like a ton of bricks. And I'm all alone. And that's not how this is supposed to end. And I'm thinking, what in the hell have I done?
We were sort of thinking the same thing, Brad. 3 years ago, Brad Womack became the most hated bachelor in America after he decided to go home alone and leave 2 women without a rose or a ring. Now he's back for another chance to find true love, and he's finding out that his past could affect his future. Take a look.
I have something for you.
Okay.
From every woman in America.
You're in this for the real thing this time, right?
I question kind of what's changed.
I know he didn't pick anyone, but why didn't he pick anyone? You don't want to fall head over heels with this guy and then he just leaves you there.
I'm not in the mood for another heartbreak.
What happened and when did you know?
Is he scared of commitment?
What if he doesn't find the right girl again? I need to know that you're going to be able to make a decision. It didn't work the first time. Why is it going to work the second?
Ouch. Please welcome the bachelor, Brad Womack.
Thank you.
Come on, Brad.
Had to re-air it, didn't you? Hello. Thank you.
So most women are watching The Bachelor on Monday nights. Did you, because here's the deal. We saw you the first time around. We were a little hard on you because you left 2 women standing there. But I think to your credit, you don't want to propose to somebody you're not in love with. So that I know if I can watch from now on, are you proposing to somebody at the end of this thing?
Well, okay, let me say this. I obviously can't say if I'm proposing to somebody. I will say...
Did you get down on one knee?
I fell very, very deeply into love, and only if, I proposed, I meant it, meaning I didn't feel pressure, it wasn't for the show's sake. If I proposed to a woman, I meant it, so if it happened, it's a very real proposal.
Is she moving to Texas with you?
Well, I can't leave Austin. I have some very deep-seated roots in Austin, and I made that clear. I know love is a compromise. I get that. That's one part of love that I just can't compromise. You know, my life is in Austin.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Go ahead.
Now, it recently came out that you have a criminal record. What were you arrested for?
You know something? I'm so glad you brought that up because I've been waiting to address. No, I really am.
It's been brought up in every paper and everything.
Yes, ma'am, it has. It was 20 years ago, and what it boils down to.
And how old are you now?
I'm 38. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to say it. I'm 38 years old. I was a stupid fraternity kid. I had a fake ID. I tried to get into bars. I'm a stupid kid. I'm still a stupid kid, you know, and the only thing that's changed is I can get into bars legally now. You know, you'll find me in a bar tonight.
So that's the whole thing? You had a fake ID?
That's it. I mean,
Are
very,
you
very
engaged, stupid kid?
Wow, this is good. I really am so happy to say I did fall in love. I know you were so disapproving of how it ended last time.
No, only because I spent Mondays crying in front of you.
She gave up everything. It's great. I mean, it's been on 15 years. It's nice to have a change for one show. But by the way, what Joy has talked about, and it has come out, did the producers the first time around know that you had this record before they chose you?
Yes, ma'am, they did. And you know, in fact...
It just came out now, though.
Yes, it just came out now because they, as well as I don't think that affects my character today. I mean, you know, you learn from your mistakes and you move on.
Okay, you were 18.
I mean, you know, and I get it. I get that. It's actually an eye-opening way of realizing that people they'll jump all over anything. I mean, I guess scandal sells. But
forgive me, but it may be good for the show. You know, it's one more piece of texture. But you have said that you have fallen in love, and you told our producer that you knew pretty early on that you were going to choose. But you keep, you know, romancing all these women. I guess you're told, no matter what, that you still have to go from flower to flower to flower.
Well, wow, that's a nice way to put it. They are they're very gracious in allowing that to be as real as it can get. And I didn't want to make the same mistake I made last time, meaning I wanted to cultivate any relationship that may or may not have worked. And so I did. I tried, much to my grandmother's dismay, tried to cultivate those relationships, and there was a lot of kissing involved. At the end of the day, I think it's just part of that process.
Well, you know, okay,
you're
so
not buying this at all. You're not at all. I see that look. I see the look. I thought, you know, something.
I've never watched. Well, maybe she has. I've never watched it.
Well, you're not missing much. I understand, you know. I thought rose ceremonies were intimidating. I'm sitting here with you guys.
Here's the question I have for you, because I don't know anything about really how it works. Okay. How long are you seeing the different women? Is it like over a course of a year? Is it time? Because it can't be like 6 months and ooh, I'm in love.
Well, sure it can.
It can be. Sure, really, it can. No, baby.
I believe it can. I believe it can. I really do.
6 months in that state. We'll be 6 or 8 weeks in love.
It's more like 3 months. You spend countless hours with these women, and I do believe it can happen, or I wouldn't have gone on the show.
You were. If we go back a bit, because you were on season 11, and it was down to Deanna and Jenny. Yes. Now you decided you weren't going to pick either one of them. Now I want to know because I think a man knows who he wants to get with. Sure. And you said neither one of them. Then why did you leave these 2 women on if you knew you weren't going to?
And the rest of American women looking
television show.
Okay,
well, it's called the television show. I just like them squirming. Why did you?
Well, I'm squirming. Okay. Job well done.
So it wasn't because it was a television show. You knew you had to lead them on?
No. Here's the thing, and I've been asked that question a lot, and I like to answer this. Again, it's one of those that I wanted to make very sure that I was making the right decision. I thought I had made a decision of integrity. In fact, I thought I didn't lead the women on by not choosing someone at the end. I gave it until the very last day to make that decision. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. And my God, I was crucified for it.
We were hard on you here,
they allowed me, I can't speak for anyone else, but I will not allow myself to feel pressured to make any decision that doesn't fit into my real life. And so they were gracious enough to allow that to happen.
In 15 years, Barbara said it's on 15 years, only 2 couples have actually gotten married.
That's
you
right.
want everlasting love. Why go on a TV show to find it? They don't have a great track record for everlasting. They do have a great track record for instant sex and kissing, though.
So does most dating.
Oh, man.
How is that different than most dating, though?
But I'm just saying what the show is. The show is not about everlasting.
I don't think it's that much different. You know, I do think we were hard on you here. Semi-crucified the fact that we had watched all the way along, but I do have to say, I think it's to your credit, you didn't just ask someone to marry you that you weren't totally in love with, and hopefully you did this time, maybe for our entertainment too. Thanks to Brad Womack for coming by. The Bachelor airs tonight at 8 p.m. right here on ABC. I'll be right back. Best of luck to you.
Barbara, would you tell everybody who's on your radio show tonight?
Why, thank you, Whoopi. I would like to do that, yes. You know, for the past 3 years, Bill Getty and I do a radio show every Monday night, and we never talked about it. But now we're talking. Joan and Melissa Rivers are joining us. Joan has had to move in with Melissa. It's on Sirius XM. It's called Here's Barbara, 6 p.m. East, 3 p.m. West, on Sirius XM 102 and XM 1551. Just watch it. Listen. Enjoy the view. Radio.